Okay, so I have a vertical cone of base diameter of 75 and axis of 100, completely penetrated by a cylinder of 45 diameter and axis length of 100 as well. The axis of the cylinder is parallel to HP and VP and intersects the axis of the cone at some point 28 millimeters above the base. I'm going to draw projections showing the curves of intersection. So I go for construction lines and then I want the axis method. So click and position that. And I've already created these layers. So that's 45 degrees. A line just to indicate the mitre line. Then switch to layer 0. I want to position the front view of the cone at some point 30 millimeters from the horizontal axis and then 30 millimeters from the vertical axis. So that's what I'm doing. Of course, the base diameter itself is 75. Okay, I'll delete that 30 millimeter horizontal line. It's not required. It's only a construction line. And then this axis height here is 100. Now that distance there is 28, and of course that's where the cylinder is intersecting the cone. If you read the question, you'd see that. Now draw a projection. That is another center line. And that's 150 or whatever figure you use. That's not really a part of the exercise, so it doesn't have to necessarily be 150. I mean, another one goes through the cone. Let me go to rectangles and select the center corner method. Make sure we're using layer 0, and then that intersection there is the center of the cylinder that's intersecting the cone. So that distance there would be 50, and the other one there, that should be 22.5. So that should be the front view of the cylinder. And I'm gonna trim those interior parts. I would use some hidden lines to join those parts. Then I want to draw the top view. Let's switch the layer back to 0 and draw the top view of the cone. So the radius, of course, is 37.5, half of 70. And I guess I can just select that, copy them by their midpoint, put them at the center of the circle, and trim. Hold down shift to extend. Let me just trim the extraneous part of the circle. So I'll trim those three parts. Now let me switch to maybe hidden. And then use the center start end method under axe. That's my center. And then that's the start and end positions. So go back for the same method. So center, I'll start there and end at that point. And now I'll switch to maybe hidden, and then I'll switch to construction, and I want to project all of those points to be able to draw my side view. And then the center as well. So we're trying to draw the side view of the cone. And then of course, that's going to be a circle on the side view. So we switch to one of the constructional layers. And go for line. Okay, so M test, then we would position the first test. Let's maybe change the height to 2. Move that by a bit. And then I want to array polar it or polar array. And we want 8 positions. Now I will select the test in this specific order. And then type in T count, select order, and then 1 1 overwrite, and we have this numbering order. So of course for the double quotes I would have to manually input those. Okay, so I manually edit the text to add the double quotes. Now I'll select the line and then polar array it. I want 8 items. So I can now, project the points horizontally onto the front view. So of course there is 5 prime prime. And then I may want to use test to label them. Change the test height to 2. So of course the projection of 1 prime prime is going to be 1 prime on the front view. Alright, so I've taken my time to go through the labeling, so you do same. Okay, so that's point 1. I'm projecting all those points onto the plan vertically. Now I'd go for circle and then draw circles from the center until they touch those points. The points are gotten from the intersection of the vertical lines and the center line. Alright, so I have all those points in place and all those circles as well. And now I'll project points from the side view. So let's go for 2 prime prime and then 3 prime prime to 4 prime prime and so I'll use a stent to connect them to the mitre line, of course. So I'm looking for P type. I want to use that. That's fine. Okay. So 1 prime prime, which goes through the center line. So 1 prime prime is gotten from that first circle. I'll just switch the layer. So 1 prime prime is gotten from that first circle. So 2 prime prime comes through that vertical and then continues until it touches the second circle. So that point is going to be there. I I'd remove those projection lines so that they don't obstruct the work. So 3 prime prime goes through that. That's the third circle. So the third point is going to be there. Then I have 4. So 4 is going through the fourth circle. So that is that. Next is 5. That's going through the center line and the fifth circle. So that's the point. So the next point that is 6. So 6 is going through that circle, and then 7. 7 is going through the third circle, and then the next point, or the last point, goes through the second circle. So I can switch to the object layer and then use spline and connect through. So point 1, 2, and 3. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and back to 1. So I want to label the point. That's P1. Okay, so I've gone ahead and then put all the labeling of the points in place. So you do same. So I'll now project the points P1 through to P8 to the front view to get the COI, for the curve of intersection, on the front view as well. Okay, so point 1. So point 1, I project that upwards until it coincides with the 1 prime horizontal line. Let's maybe use a point. So that's point 1 on the front view. And then I project point 2. So point 2 vertically upwards until it coincides with, the 2 prime horizontal line. Okay, so I project point 2 until it coincides with the 2 horizontal line, or the 2 prime horizontal line. And then I project point 3 until it coincides with the 3 prime horizontal line. And I project point 4 until it coincides with the 4 prime horizontal line. Finally, I project point 5 until it coincides with the 5 prime horizontal line at that point. So these are the points of interest coming together to form the COI. Now I can go for spline and connect those points. I would have to, copy P1, that label, and then take it to the front view, position them, So I've gone ahead to edit them, P1 through to P5. Now I think we can copy the labels along with the points and the curve, then mirror them to the other side, like that. And for the top view of the COI, we'll have to do the same thing. So copy the entire thing and then mirror it to the other side. And that basically will be the solution required. Now I've gone ahead to put in these correct labels, so you make sure you also put in the labels correctly. And that's our solution.